The argument started over something so ordinary that neither of us expected it to matter. Looking back, that should have been a warning. The conversations that change relationships rarely announce themselves. They begin with small things carrying larger meanings underneath. My daughter and I had just left a family gathering. Rain tapped steadily against the windshield as we walked across a crowded parking lot toward our cars. The evening had been pleasant until then. Good food, easy conversation. The kind of gathering families spend weeks planning and then forget within days. Yet somewhere between the restaurant door and the parking lot, a disagreement surfaced. At first it sounded harmless, a discussion about money, housing share plans, adult responsibilities, topics parents and children revisit endlessly. My daughter was 28, smart, successful, independent in many ways. She had built a respectable career and made decisions I admired, which was why her words surprised me, not because they were cruel, because they revealed assumptions I didn't know existed. She spoke about certain opportunities as though they naturally belonged to her, financial support, safety nets, opposite. The language wasn't demanding, it was expectant. As though stability simply appeared wherever she needed it, I listened quietly. Rain slid down the car windows beside us. Parking lot lights reflected across wet pavement. For a moment, I wasn't hearing my daughter. I was hearing the invisible side of parenthood, the part children rarely see, not because they are selfish, because good parents often work very hard to keep it hidden. The conversation continued. Her frustration grew, mine didn't. Instead, I felt something closer to sadness, because I suddenly understood that she had mistaken protection for permanence. The life she remembered wasn't false, it was incomplete. For years, I had carefully edited reality before presenting it to my family. Missed opportunities disappeared from view. Financial stress stayed private. Fear remained hidden. Children slept peacefully because someone else stayed awake worrying. That was the arrangement, one I accepted willingly, yet standing there in the rain, I realized an unintended consequence. She knew the benefits of those sacrifices, not the sacrifices themselves. Neither of us got into our cars. The weather became an excuse to remain where we were. The conversation moved beyond its original topic. For the first time, I stopped protecting old stories. I told her about the promotion I declined when she was 10, a position that required relocating across the country. The salary would have changed our lives. The move would have changed hers. I remembered the silence that followed my decision, the uncertainty, the second guessing. She had never known any of it. I told her about years when finances were tighter than they appeared, the vacations postponed, the purchases delayed, the nights spent reviewing bills after everyone else had gone to sleep, not because we were in crisis, because I wanted to make sure we never reached one. She listened quietly. The rain continued falling. The windshield wipers on nearby cars moved back and forth like metronomes. For the first time all evening, neither of us seemed interested in winning. Then something happened neither of us expected. My phone rang. The timing felt almost absurd. It was an accountant. We had been working through documents related to a family property and several long-term financial obligations. I stepped aside briefly and answered a few questions, reviewed figures, confirmed deadlines, nothing dramatic, just responsibility. When the call ended, my daughter was staring at the folder I had left on the hood of the car. The folder contained pages she had never seen: property taxes, insurance records, maintenance expenses, educational accounts, years of practical decisions, the infrastructure of stability, not glamorous, not impressive, just necessary. She looked at the papers, then looked at me. A different expression crossed her face, not guilt, understanding, or at least the beginning of it. I didn't know all of this existed. I smiled softly. That was kind of the point. The answer lingered between us. For years, I had believed successful parenting meant eliminating certain worries from her life. Perhaps it had, but it had also eliminated visibility. She experienced security. I experienced responsibility. Both were true, yet only one side had been visible. The rain began slowing. Cars left the parking lot one by one. The world moved forward. My daughter folded her arms and stared into the distance. For a while she said nothing, then she laughed quietly. Not because anything was funny, because realization sometimes arrives that way. I think I assumed things just worked. There was no defensiveness left in her voice, only honesty. I nodded. Most children do. She looked at me. I'm not really a child anymore. The statement carried more weight than either of us expected, because that was the real conversation, not money, not obligations. Perspective. Adulthood often begins when we finally notice the burden someone else carried so we wouldn't have to. Eventually, we said goodnight. No dramatic reconciliation followed, no emotional speeches. Life rarely offers those. She climbed into her car. I climbed into mine. The rain had nearly stopped. As I watched her taillights disappear into the darkness, I realized something important. The lesson wasn't that she had been entitled. That word was too simple. The truth was more complicated. She had mistaken stability for effortlessness, a mistake many people make when someone loves them well, and for the first time she had seen the difference.